Welcome everyone to my SH Figuarts 4 collection. This is the complete Bandai to Machinations releases of the God of Thunder from the Marvel Cinematic Universe line. So over the years, to Machinations have released plenty of looks for Thor, and the only ones they missed out was the first two movies of him. Other than that, we get all the Avengers looks, his third and fourth installment. And with the latest movie, Thor Love and Thunder, out this month, as well as their recent releases of the figures in the line, it's a good time to do a recap, a collection, and just basically compare all the Thors you can pick up. What I'll do in this video is just go through them one by one, discuss the pros, the cons, the sculpts, the accessories, just compare them and give you my verdict on my favorite one. So let's begin with the first release. So the first Thor they gave us in the MCU line was from the Age of Ultron, and this was made in 2015. Bandai began their Marvel line in 2013, where they made Iron Man and War Machine figures. So this was the first time they dived into the other characters of the Avengers, and you can see it's a bit outdated in terms of the sculpts. They definitely improved over the years, and for this one it's not the best in terms of not only the sculpt and the proportions. I really don't like the hard plastic cape that they've used on this Thor. It is removable, but when it's on, it's not great for posing. And even though the figure does stand pretty well, you can see that it's a pretty outdated figure. In terms of the accessories, we do get these alternate eyes, two of them, to give him various looks. So that was something they did back in the day. And of course, for his weapon, you get the Mjolnir with different alternate hands. But for this one, you do get this alternate hand that has a Mjolnir attached to it at the end of it, just to give him that flight pose. And that is something that is pretty unique for this figure only, so that's worth a look at. Other than that, I think it's just a very basic Thor figure. And if you do collect the Age of Ultron line and have this in there, it's not bad. But in terms of the Thor collection over the years, it's probably the weakest one. And the next release was from the Infinity War line, and by then Bandai were experienced in making their Marvel characters, so this was a major improvement in terms of a Thor figure from the previous version. You can see that the head sculpt is a lot more realistic, and to a lot of people this is probably one of the most iconic looks of the Avengers characters from the Infinity War line. So if you're looking to maybe even pick up just one Thor figure, this may be the one for you for a lot of people. Now, the big improvement for this figure would be the cape. This time they've used a soft one. It's a lot larger and a lot more flexibility in terms of the poses. The only thing is there was no hard plastic band inside to give him different shapes, but I'm still happy with the way they've done it compared to the previous one. Now, for the Thor figure, the only disappointment would be there was no alternate head sculpt at all, so you can't get any other different looks, but you do get the Stormbreaker as the weapon. And the other thing is there was no lightning effects, which was kind of disappointing because the Mafex version, of course, released later on, had plenty of those effects, different head sculpts, and giving that Thor figure the edge. But for this one, it's not a bad look, obviously very iconic, and I would definitely say that it looks really good when you put the other Avengers around him. So this figure would definitely look better if it had the effects, but I'm not complaining since it's a big improvement to the previous one. And the next figure is the first time they dived into the solo movies of Thor with the Thor Ragnarok version. And you can see for his armor is very different to any of the Avengers Thor figures. So it's definitely not the definitive look to pick up if you're only looking to maybe pick up one SH Figuarts Thor. But I feel that this is a great display if you pair up with the Gladiator Hulk from this line. And you can see that this one has the helmet version, and that's the disappointing thing, is there was no alternate head sculpt either for this figure. So you pretty much have to have Thor in this look all the time. If you want to change it up, you can switch it with the Infinity War version. I have done it before, it does work. So other than that, I think it's a decent figure. You can see that there's a lot more color going on in this armor. And this one is not the definitive look of Thor because you don't get the Mjolnir or the Stormbreaker. So you can see that it's pretty much a figure on its own. And the other thing would be that I wish they included an alternate head sculpt, just like a smiling face or angry face, just a bit more expression like we saw in the movie. And this version is in fact the second release. I picked up the one with the lightning effects that was included. If you buy the standard edition in a smaller box, I believe it only came with the weapons and obviously the figure itself. So if you want the ultimate version, you have to buy it with the bigger box, which included the lightning effects. And again, this is not the definitive Thor, but I think if you like the movie, you should have this in your collection. Next up, we have the Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition from the very iconic movie, of course, Avengers Endgame. So for me, this is like the ultimate Thor figure because you get a lot of the accessories, the Stormbreaker, the Mjolnir. This version, you get the lightning effects as well. And most importantly is that this figure also included the light up alternate head sculpt eyes, which is something they didn't do previously in the Thor figures. So that was a major bonus. I still wish they gave us a really angry face of Thor, something that the Mafex version did, which is in their recent release. But I'm not complaining for this figure. I think when it has all the weapons, the lightning effects, the different head sculpt, is pretty much a fantastic display. And if you have the other Avengers around him, it looks really, really good. So this one is the second version. If you decide to pick up the standard one, you won't get any of the alternate head sculpts or lightning effects. But in terms of the armor, it's more or less the same kind of figure. There are some details I believe that is a bit different from the original version. And again, this is a very iconic moment in the whole of the MCU. So I'll definitely recommend this for in your collection if you're looking for a very great display. Next up, Bandai Tamashii Nations did a bit of time travel by going back to all the way to 2012 with the first Avengers team-up movie for the classic look of the God of Thunder, in my opinion. And if you're looking to maybe only pick up one SH Figuarts for, this may be the figure for it because it's just the classic look of him from the first team-up movie. And when you have this look alongside the other Avengers, I think it pretty much makes a great display. So for this one, they pretty much improved on a lot of things and did what they did in the previous figures and put it all into this one. So we have the soft cape with the band this time, and we have a very nice detailed armor, a very good head sculpt. The only disappointing thing for this figure would be the alternate head sculpt. I believe it was a very bland one. They could have given us a more aggressive face, or maybe one where he's smiling. Something a bit different would have been excellent for this figure. And of course for the Mjolnir, there was the lightning effects attached to it. So for me, this is definitely one to pick up if you're looking to maybe only pick up one Thor. And even if you have other Thors, I believe this one is such a classic look not to miss out on. So yeah, I'll definitely have this in my collection, and it's certainly one of my favorites. And the final Thor we're going to take a look at is of course from the latest movie, Thor Love and Thunder. And this one is probably the most colourful Thor armor out of all of them, with the bright blue, gold and red colours, very much inspired from the Jack Kirby comics. And to me, this is very different compared to any of the previous Thors. If you're having it in a display, I think it stands out a lot more. Of course, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not too sure how it would work in the movie. It will probably grow on me after watching the film. Now, in terms of the accessories, we get the Stormbreaker with the lightning effects attached to it as well. So you're going to get a really good display. The other thing would be a alternate face sculpt where you can switch it up with the light up eyes, which is a nice bonus. The only thing is there was no helmet version included, which of course we saw in the Hasbro version. We've been seeing it in the trailers. I know it probably won't feature much in the movie, especially towards the end, but I think it would have been nice if they included that in this figure. So this is the latest one, Thor Love and Thunder. Again, you probably have to pick up the Mighty Thor Jane Foster version to pair it up well with this. But I don't think it's a bad Thor figure if you're looking for a definitive look. Obviously, you won't have the Mjolnir, but him with the Stormbreaker, the lightning effects, the light up eyes, is actually a pretty good figure. And now we can take a look at the accessory weapons. Out of the 6 Thor figures, only 3 of them included the Mjolnir, and that is the Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Endgame, and the Avengers Assemble editions. For the Age of Ultron version, they included a alternate hands with an extra attachment for the Mjolnir to give it that flying effect look. For the Endgame version, they included the lightning effects to attach to the sides of the Mjolnir. And they also included a larger lightning effect to be attached to the top of the Mjolnir. And for the Avengers Assemble edition, they had a full replacement for the head of the Mjolnir with a lightning effect. And for the Avengers Assemble edition, they had a bonus of the spinning Mjolnir effect, which is the only time we've seen it in an SH Figuarts. And there are 3 Thor figures that included the Stormbreaker, the Avengers Infinity War, the Avengers Endgame, and the Thor Love and Thunder editions. In terms of the alternate looks of the Stormbreaker, for the Avengers Endgame edition, you have the lightning effects which you can attach onto the end. And for the Thor Love and Thunder edition, there is a replacement piece for the Stormbreaker which includes the lightning effects. So the only 4 SH Figuarts to include both the Mjolnir and Stormbreaker is the Avengers Endgame edition. And as for the Thor Ragnarok edition, since it doesn't have the Mjolnir or Stormbreaker, it does include 2 swords. For the alternate facial expressions, 3 of the 4 figures included alternate ones. For the first Avengers Assemble, we had the alternate face swap, which was the eyes looking to the side. For the Thor Love and Thunder edition, it was also a face swap with the light up eyes. And for the Avengers Endgame edition, it was a full head swap with the light up eyes. For the first release, the Age of Ultron edition, there were no alternate head or face sculpts, but they did include these 2 sets of alternate eyes, ones to look to the left and ones to look to the right. So the only 2 Thor figures without any alternate facial expressions is the Avengers Infinity War and the Thor Ragnarok editions. Of course, if you have both of the figures, you can take out the Infinity War head sculpt and place it on the Ragnarok version to give him that non-helmet look, which is of course the first time we see him cut his hair in the movie. And one final comparison that sets the Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition apart from the rest of the 4 figures is that it includes plenty of the lightning effects which can be attached to the body, the arms and the legs. So that's my SH Figuarts 4 comparison. All are unique in their own way of course and will fit into the displays of their own. Given the choice, I would say the 2 best figures are the Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition as well as the Avengers Assemble Edition, with the Thor Love and Thunder in 3rd place. The other 3 Thors just lacked the accessories, with the Age of Ultron one in particular being outdated on the sculpts as well. I think the Avengers Endgame Final Battle has it all, with both the weapons, the lightning effects, the light up eyes, so there's plenty to play and pose around with. The Avengers Assemble is also a must-have as it has the classic look, a very good sculpt, the lightning effect on the Mjolnir, and the only Thor figure with the spinning Mjolnir effect. As for the Thor Love and Thunder, I need to watch the movie for it to grow on me. It does have the light up eyes, the effects on the Stormbreaker, and of course I need to watch the movie to determine whether we need the helmet look or not. So that's the SH Figuarts 4 collection. Hope you liked it, and you can check out my other videos related to the MCU with the links in the description below. Like, comment and subscribe, and enjoy Thor Love and Thunder.